Think we're recording. All right. Hi, coaches. We are here to give you some background information around some changes that are happening with our Great Beginnings program for the 24-25 school year. And so this video is going to overview some of those changes for you. And if you have any questions, again, you can always reach out to us with those after.
So as always, we're going to start off with a little bit of the why behind some of these shifts and these coming changes. This graphic is familiar to many of you. You've seen it many times, but this idea of the evolving teacher landscape is not one that is going away anytime soon. We know that new educators, new teachers to the classrooms are not necessarily the ones that we were when we stepped in the door of our classroom, or ones that we may not be used to supporting in our schools. We take a look here, we know that they have different and varying experiences around coursework, practicum, student teaching, licensure, and so forth. And so in order to meet the needs of this very evolving and changing landscape, we are trying to evolve and change as well.
And so on these next few slides, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some of the individual changes we're making. But the first one I'm going to talk about are the application and roles available to folks who are in our facilitator pool. So currently, as you know, and as many of you have, you applied to be a Great Beginnings coach. Or if you applied last year, you might have applied to be in the Great Beginnings coach pool. What we're doing this year, though, and going forward, is really thinking about all of these other roles that we have in addition to being a Great Beginnings coach and broadening our pool to be facilitators. And so when new candidates apply this year, they're going to be applying for a variety of facilitator roles and will be placed into a facilitator pool. And when you all reapply, you will also be able to share which roles you're applying for as well.
So one of the other things that we're changing is who is eligible to apply. And as you know, that right now, if you leave the classroom or as a coach and you become an AART or you become an instructional coach or you become a resource teacher, you're really not able to coach with the program any longer because we try to keep our coaches to people who are currently in the classroom teaching that content. And so one of the changes that we're making for next year is that if you do leave the classroom to become one of those other roles, you will have other opportunities to work with new teachers and or those who support them as part of the Great Beginnings program.
Who's participating in that program is also shifting just a bit. Normally, all new to FCPS teachers are automatically enrolled in Great Beginnings when they come to the county. However, moving forward, all 0 to 2 year teachers or instructional staff will still be automatically enrolled. However, those who are coming to the county with 3+ years or who are new to FCPS in general will have the opportunity to opt in or opt out of the support.
So if we think about our current state for coach professional development, it is only people who are designated as our cohort coaches who are coming to that Monday professional development. We're going to be doing some shifting next year and inviting all of our Great Beginnings facilitators to participate in that facilitation professional development, regardless of which role you're taking on.
Now, as to the professional development frequency, right now, professional development occurs just for coaches 4 to 5 times a year in person and includes both PD and planning time. And starting next year, professional development will be held more frequently, about monthly, and will focus on effective facilitation skills. PD is going to primarily be virtual with some in person. So we're going to do kind of a mix of virtual and in person. And planning will be on your own. So you'll still be paid for planning and you'll still be paid for PD participation. But those are going to be two things that you do separately.
So we're also going to end with the why as we wrap around. This idea of that evolving teacher landscape that we talked about on our first few slides, knowing that our support needs to change in order to meet the needs of the changing people who are coming to our county. We also, of course, as always, are being asked to do more to support more teachers with different needs with the same amount of money. And so we are trying to find ways that we can be resourceful and making sure that the people who need the most support are getting that support. And finally, honestly, for you, additional opportunities. As somebody who ended up having to leave the coaching role because I left the classroom, I wish that something like this had existed so that I could work on my facilitation skills and still get to work with the program.
So the next bit of slides are going to go a little bit deeper into each of the roles we have available to people in the coming school year. As we're looking at this slide and the slides, when you receive them in your email, each of the titles of the positions are hyperlinked to the slide, so you can go back and click through at your own pace and look a little bit more deeply at these roles. But as we're looking at this slide, there are a couple of things that I wanted to highlight for you. Just notice, like, there are 8 positions up here, and we used to only have like 1 position. So we're really thinking about expanding those opportunities. There are a few roles up here that have asterisks next to them: new teacher cohorts, year 2, mentoring novice educators, and skillful teacher book study. Those roles are year-long commitments, and those are the roles where if you are selected for one of those, you would not be eligible for an additional role. The ones that don't have an asterisk, it might be the case that you might be supporting a little bit of one of these, a little bit of the others. We might be doing some of that cobbling together for some folks. You'll also notice that there are some bolded words underneath a few of the roles, and those are additional eligibility requirements to apply for those positions. So for our cohorts, we are still requiring that those coaches, those facilitators are still teaching that current grade level or content. And then to be a lead mentor facilitator, you must be an experienced lead mentor facilitator. So those are just a couple of things as you're looking at this slide, what those mean.
So the first role that we want to take a look at is the new teacher cohort facilitator. And this is going to be the most familiar role to you because this is what all of you are currently doing. So the new teacher cohort facilitator commitments haven't really changed. You'll attend a week-long PD prior to GBSI, facilitate your GBSI cohort of new instructional staff, attend that monthly facilitator PD, plan with your co-facilitator for your virtual after-school cohort seminars, and then facilitate your virtual year-long after-school cohort of new instructional staff throughout the year. Now, the time commitment for this role is probably the biggest because you, again, are asked to hold those first 2 weeks. It's technically the last week of July and the first week of August, to do the 6 facilitator PDs over the course of September to May. You'll do your planning time each time you have a cohort seminar, and then facilitate your monthly cohort seminars.
The next role is going to be the experienced teacher cohort facilitator, which many of you are also familiar with. The idea here being that you would attend that week-long PD prior to GBSI under the time commitment, also facilitating GBSI cohort of experienced instructional staff of 3+ years. Remembering that with this time commitment, even though it looks a little bit potentially a little bit different now that we have that opt-in opportunity, hopefully that means that the people who are in these cohorts are really excited and excited about the opportunity to work with and learn from you.
All right, so this next role is something that we're really excited about. We have been trying as Great Beginnings program to really get a strong year 2 program off the ground, and we've had some fits and starts. We've learned some things, and we think we've landed on something really exciting that we are thrilled to be able to offer the opportunity to some Great Beginnings facilitators. So year 2 facilitator would be leading a group of folks who are in their second year of teaching, and your job would be to kick off the year with them. You'd plan for small group meetings with them. You'd facilitate monthly virtual small group meetings with them, and you'd check in with those groups regularly. So this is an opt-in program, so we'd be inviting year 2 teachers to participate. Groupings might not be by content or grade level. We have some ideas about how we might group folks based on areas they want to learn more about to really facilitate that deep learning with people who also want to learn about the same types of things. The time commitment, we would ask you to still attend that new facilitator day on July 29th. You'd have your 6 facilitator PDs throughout the year, and then you would also have planning time of 2 hours per session.
Another role is a supporting new teachers facilitator, and this is a role that currently exists. It's our second year with the Supporting New Teachers Compass program. And a supporting new teachers facilitator they facilitate virtual supporting new teacher sessions on a specific topic, and they facilitate this same session 3 to 4 times over the course of the school year. And their audience is teacher leaders, those who support new teachers. So you get a lot of mentors, lead mentors, school-based admins, school-based induction team members. You would attend that monthly facilitator PD, facilitate your session 3 to 4 times a year, and then plan with your co-facilitator using provided content from us. Your time commitment is that new facilitator day if you are a new facilitator on July 29th, the 6 facilitator PDs throughout the year, planning time prior to each of your sessions, and then, of course, facilitating those 3 to 4 sessions over the course of the school year.
We also have the opportunity to facilitate mentoring novice educators. A shout out to Jenna and Katie and Sarah Royer, who really took this course and brought it down to the most important points, and then also made the facilitation of this super easy. So the description of the role is that you would facilitate at least one section of mentoring novice educators, running about roughly 5 to 6 weeks. Those 5 to 6 weeks include 3 virtual synchronous sessions. The content is provided for you, the facilitator notes, the syllabus, everything is laid out beautifully. Your time commitment would be the new facilitator day on July 29th. You would have 6 facilitator PDs between September and May. You would have those 3 synchronous sessions. And then just as under the description, you would have grading of asynchronous assignments. The nice part about those is that they kind of come in gently as a waterfall. And so you can kind of move through them as you go rather than have a big rush at the end.
The next opportunity we have available is to facilitate quarterly learning series. This was something that was started this year as an opportunity to really provide some differentiated learning for our second and third year teachers in FCPS. And so we've collaborated with this year some ISD colleagues or other central office colleagues to provide content. And what we would like to do next year is continue that, but also have some content that we, the Great Beginnings team, create provided by some of our facilitators. And so the responsibility of this would be to facilitate 1 virtual session per quarter to new teachers and plan with the co-facilitator using provided content. So similar to the Supporting New Teachers series, where it's 1 session, we provide the content to you with all the facilitator notes and information, and then you work with your co-facilitator to plan how you'll actually deliver that. Time commitments are very similar to some of the ones we've just talked about with that new facilitator day on July 29th. We have 6 facilitator PDs throughout the year. You'd be paid for that 2 hours of planning time, and you would be expected to lead 1 session per quarter.
All right. We also have lead mentor facilitator roles, and this is again something that we've had for the last couple of years and that we're continuing into this year. A lead mentor facilitator is an experienced lead mentor who leads sessions for our after-school PD for all of our lead mentors. And so a lead mentor facilitator would facilitate 1 to 2 virtual sessions in quarters 2 and 4 to current lead mentors. And then they plan with their co-facilitator using content, again, provided by the team. Again, if you're a new facilitator, your commitment would be to attend that new facilitator day on July 29th. You'd attend those 6 facilitator PDs over the course of the year. And then, of course, you would facilitate 1 to 2 sessions per quarter to those lead mentors.
We also will be having a skillful teacher book study. So for this commitment, it would involve facilitating at least 1 section of the Skillful Teacher book study. It would be an academic course and at least once per year, running roughly 5 to 6 weeks. You'd be planning for 5 synchronous virtual sessions, again, using provided content, and you'd have asynchronous grading assignments. The time commitment is you'd be participating in a pilot book study that would be taking place this summer. We're still figuring out dates at this moment. Attending on that new facilitator day, those 6 PD sessions, your planning time, and then you'd be facilitating 5 2-hour sessions.
So as veteran coaches, we are just like every year asking you to reapply to be part of this facilitator pool. And in that application, you'll be able to indicate which of the roles you'd like to be considered for. And your application is going to also include a principal recommendation and then a video essay reflecting on your experiences so far as a Great Beginnings coach and some of the things you want to work on going forward as a Great Beginnings facilitator. Something I wanted to highlight from some of the time commitments on the previous slides, you notice that we had that new facilitator day on July 29th. You all would not be expected to attend that new facilitator day as veteran coaches. So just wanted to make that clear for you all that we're sharing all those slides with people who are also applying. So we didn't, change them too much, but that new facilitator day is just think new coach day. You've already done that new coach day. And so that new facilitator day is really our kickoff for our folks who are new to this family.
So as we look ahead to our hiring timeline for the winter spring, we will be opening applications on February 12th for everyone. So you'll receive an email likely on February 12th with the application materials for your veteran application. And the deadline for applications is March 8th. So you have about a month if you decide that you do want to reapply to get those materials together. We will begin interviewing new facilitator candidates on March 15th. And then in April, at some point, date TBD, we will begin notifying candidates about acceptance into the facilitator pool. And then we're going to take that time between April and May to, again, identify who is going to be in the pool. And then in May, we will let everyone know what their specific role is and what their who their co-facilitator will be, and so on. So that'll happen before the end of the school year.
And so, as Jenna said in the beginning, and as Katie reiterated throughout, we are always here for questions. We know this is a great deal of information. Remembering you have this slide deck so that you can take the time to walk through, consider the different roles, consider what works for you and your lives in the upcoming years. We are so grateful to all of you for serving as coaches this year, and we look forward to working with you next year in any and all capacities.